Hey Mike, tell me about the seasons.
Uh, yeah, well, it's like this fire right now. It's all bright, it's full of light and energy. That would be the spring, right? But one of the things that you do in survival or bushcraft, in the outdoors, whether you're a hunter or a fisher, is you pay attention to the seasons. In the spring, uh, the, the fur bearers are having babies. The meat, if you will, is having offspring. You want to leave them alone. We're going to do this in a way that creates more bounty, diversity, and health on the landscape if we integrate in the way that our ancestors did. Actually, the challenge is unique to our modern times now because spring isn't just go out and fish. The roiling rivers that once existed with sturgeon and striped bass and all manner of migratory fish, the salmon, and well, they're not as roiling anymore, are they? So we have to be a little bit more contemplative in our approach if we're going to increase bounty, diversity, and health on the landscape by the means in which we harvest. So spring, greens, buds, um, the roots and tubers that overwintered and are sweet because their carbs have simplified into sugars for explosive growth in their biannual life cycle, the evening primrose root, the wild carrot root, just to name a few. It's a bountiful time, but the energy of the landscape is to flush toxins and to rejuvenate our immune system. It's also a time of explosive growth. The migratory birds have come in. The bird song is getting loud and exciting, and sometimes it wakes you up. You know, this is how you know it's spring. In our life, or the development of a skill, whether it's marksmanship or bow drill or tracking or herbalism, you get excited about it. You're fired up. You get all of the books and you do all of the research. It's explosive growth. Summer's different. In the summertime, the fire isn't new and exploding with all of that tinder and kindling. It's settling in. It's collapsing in some places as parts of the structure burn and become friable. It's the school of hard knocks or adolescence. In this transformative state, it is hard work, often thankless hard work, that honors the vision, whatever the vision is. It could be to get on the wrestling team, to learn about engine repair and actually repair your own car. It's working out at 4:30 in the morning, play the Rocky music, right? It's also that archetype of being in the office and doing all of the thankless work that nobody notices but is necessary to keep things going. And in all cases, it's the time where we get our strength, our resilience. It helps us to identify who we are and what we will and will not tolerate, as well as what's important to us, important enough to sacrifice time and energy away from our loved ones and what we would rather be doing. So that's the energy of the South. And as we grow through that summertime energy of hard work honoring the vision, we notice that that time for plants is also medicinal. The insects have come out, causing the plants to turn bitter in defense. And it's those bitters that help us not only digest food, but absorb medicine. They're also toning or tonic, meaning there's a slight astringency, or there's something that increases the rhythm of peristalsis to help move our food out. It's these important medicinal compounds found in summertime that move our foraging habits from fish and spring greens more into gathering and drying and making tinctures, salves, ointments out of the important but fleeting seasons of all of these important medicines, things for bacterial infections and viral infections and um, it, skin injuries, even skin injuries that break through the subcutaneous membranes and would otherwise require sutures, can be addressed in the field with a lot of these plants. And then we move into the next season. There's a transition late summer before fall that causes us to wander and explore. We're scouting not only for the rice in the rice beds that are all over New England, but also the acorns. Even though the first drop hasn't quite occurred, it's starting in some places, and you can see where a lot of the acorns are going to be removed by the original gardeners, the squirrels, all of the rodents, from the chipmunks through the flying squirrels and red squirrels and gray squirrels, are up there with the corvids, the jays, the crows, the ravens, and they're all nipping the infected acorns. So if you see an acorn with a cap on it, you should know it's mechanically removed by those caretakers of the forest who haven't forgotten their original instructions. Yeah, so when we come to second drop, well after August, beginning of September, usually late September, mid-October, even as late as November for some trees, you're looking for those acorns without the caps that are firm and have no discoloration or holes around where the cap used to be. And those are going to fill your baskets. And we get sometimes 200 gallons. And those 200 gallons, if you're conservative with your foods and you have a diverse food portfolio that you've gathered throughout the year, from blueberries all the way up through the seasons, then you have acorns that will last for 3 years in their original container. And it's all in preparation for this season, the season of the storytelling around the campfire, winter. See, winter's the culling time. A lot of the folks going into winter won't come out the other end. We have to make room for the unborn that are coming into this world. And it's not by our choice that this happens. In winter, things are sparse and cold. The nights are dark and long, and the days are too short and could be rainy and then freezing and then sunny and bitter cold throughout the next night. So you have to be on your game. The forest experts perish in the winter. Those would be the deer. All of the animals are on a tight calorie budget. And us being so far removed for so long can take it for granted and be in a lot of trouble. The furnace could go out, for instance. And if you don't have firewood backup or any sort of backup, then you're worried about your pipes freezing, and it suddenly becomes a crisis. So winter demands that we have a proactive mindset. And you start thinking about winter as soon as the sap flows in the spring. We're just on the cusp of coming out of the winter, marked by that first gunshot of spring that starts the foraging calendar, the sap flow. So that's the cycle of the seasons, from birth or morning or spring, through adolescence or noon or summer, into the time of bounty, the fall or middle age, or sunset, where we gather together around the table to share in our stories of the day. And then there's midnight or winter, when the snows fall and turn our hairs white, and hopefully through a full life we've become elders, wisdom keepers, storytellers, and we rely more on our direct experience through decades of vibrant interaction than we do on what we read or what we were told in a news cycle or on Facebook. It's probably one of the more important but least covered aspects of wilderness living, bushcraft and survival, to walk it backwards toward least experience. And there's no replacing it. Yeah, there's the seasons for you.